This week on the Ad Hoc Committee, Parliament probed allegations of political interference within law enforcement. Former IPID head Robert McBride was the first to appear before the committee. He faced immediate criticism over submitting an outdated CV, refusing to disclose his current employer and displaying a combative tone towards MPs. McBride told MPs he couldn't update his CV because he didn't have the right gadgets. On Thursday, the committee turned its attention to suspended Ekurhuleni Metro Police Acting Chief Julius Mkhwanazi. Mkhwanazi has maintained that no blue lights were fitted on the private vehicles of attempted murder-accused Vusumuzi cat Matlala. Take a listen.
It's too early for us to be told that the CV is outdated. That means that we have a falsified statement in front of us. And we just continue like it's acceptable.
Whilst we are starting, let's implore with the witness to stop doing those gestures he's doing. I noticed him when Honorable James was speaking. He's doing some funny gestures of laughing when someone is talking. If he wants us to have a very good day today, he must refrain from doing that. Thank you.
James?
Chairperson, also, the witness couldn't tell us where he works. I don't understand. When his appointment was public, he was publicly appointed as the director, let me help him, director for Foreign Branch of State Security Agency. It's all over. Why couldn't he answer that simple question?
No,
the only plan was the donation.
Yes, to receive the vehicles.
Okay. May I now take you...
And I must mention that I raised it many times, Chair and Advocate, that show me the photos of these 4 vehicles, show me where you stopped them, show me where you got blue lights. Because this story was on Instagram, and within our media team, somebody was making notes. They were calling me blue light blesser in each and every article, but I've said it's fine. Can you prove it to me?
Let's unpack this now with crime expert Dr. Chris de Kock. Chris, good afternoon. Thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. Robert McBride made a number of claims that I think are quite bold, and his testimony, I think, laid bare a number of issues pertaining to IPID and its relationship with SABS and holding SABS accountable. What stood out most for you in Robert McBride's testimony?
Okay, first I want to say good afternoon to the viewers and yourself. And then I want to say, before I even start to talk, all of this that we have heard for this whole week, as I've said for the previous 3 months, are allegations. Everybody is throwing allegations to us. And in the end, everything will have to be proved in a court of law. Okay, then on McBride, I must say the first day of his testimony, he was actually cool and calm. I mean, he started off on a bad note. There was, there's allegations that he's making gestures with his face and all of that. But then after that, things went quite well for him during that first day. But the second day, when he became under cross-examination, things changed quite a lot. And he didn't come over as solid as on the first day when he was just taken through his testimony. What stood out for me was that especially the relationship with Paul O'Sullivan and the lady Trend. It seems that relationship was much more intense if we listen to the cross-questioning of James, Honorable James. Then clearly there was much more. She produced a document which she put on in front of her, and she asked him, what is the frequency of your contact with Mr. McBride and Sarah Trend? And he then said, say let's once a month, maybe twice a month, depending on circumstances. And when she produced the document, she actually said, but you are talking to them daily and for the whole day. I think that caught him in a very uncomfortable position, because if that is true, and again I say things have to be proven, if that is true, they actually controlled IPID and the chief director of IPID. So that came out quite strong, and I think that is very serious. I see today in reporting that Mr. Paul O'Sullivan, who should actually come before the committee on Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, say he's not coming. He will maybe giving evidence from a embassy, which indicate that he is overseas, probably in Britain. But otherwise, he will not appear before the committee. He is afraid of his life, and he see the committee as a bunch of criminals, and he won't even talk. Even it seems if he talk over Zoom or whatever, he won't talk to the EFF, he won't talk to Action SA or to MK. Now, I think that's very arrogant, and I think that is going to turn out quite seriously. The other thing that Mr. McBride
Can I just ask,
indicate to
is
us,
a picture emerging for you, Chris, that Paul O'Sullivan may have yielded a lot more influence and weight over our criminal justice system functionaries, such as SABC in some instances and IPID in some instances, than what should have ordinarily been okay for what's quite frankly a civilian in South Africa?
Yeah, no, if especially it seems on IPID, because IPID is the instrument that look at corruption in the police. So I think he had a lot of influence, and actually a massive influence. If the document that Honorable James received and then spread to the other members of the Ad Hoc Committee, then it seems he have a lot of influence. And that is not correct. I mean, he's not only a civilian, but he's basically he's South African, but he's also a foreigner. And the question is, how can he yield so much influence over SAPS and specifically IPID?
Yeah, and of course, McBride still is a state official to some extent, right? We now know he works for the intelligence services of South Africa. And if he is then found to have been used as a pawn by Paul O'Sullivan, do you think that he's someone that should be kept in intelligence?
No, I don't know. I don't want to make such statements, but if Paul O'Sullivan had this influence on Mr. McBride in his career at IPID and other places, then clearly he may also have the very same influence when it comes to SSA. That's where Mr. McBride is now currently working. And I mean, that is just as important. It's also an intelligence institution of the state. And I don't think, and it's especially, I don't know exactly where he's working, but he was, it seems, but he doesn't want to put his CV on the table. But he was, as the parliamentarians pointed out, the head of the foreign leg of SSA.
Yeah.
And Mr. O'Sullivan is now sitting in Britain. So what influence will he have on him?
Yeah, and that is quite worrying. Let's move on to Julius Mkhwanazi. He has been seen as an important nexus between criminal syndicates in Gauteng, in particular Vusumuzi, Matlala specifically, and the local Metro Policing Authority with the blue lights, for instance, and of course several other favors that were carried out between the two of them towards each other. What stood out, Chief, for you amongst the evidence that was provided by Julius Mkhwanazi, bearing in mind, of course, that he's had an opportunity to appear before the Matlala Commission as well?
Yeah, I also listened to him when he was there, and I listened not the full day when he was here, but I especially looked at the way he was under cross-examination, I would say, of the parliamentarians. And I must say, his whole testimony, I think, of all the testimonies that I've heard, and I've listened from the first day, the day that our Minister of Police, our ex-Minister of Police, which was the ambassador in France, he died. From that day, I listened. And the fact is, I think this is one of the weakest witnesses that I've ever seen, Brigadier, or he calls himself Commissioner, Mkhwanazi. I really think the whole thing is that he defended himself. He had nothing to do with the blue lights. And he are looking for photos of the blue lights. But we have seen in the Malanga Commission when there was witness A, B, C, and I think D, and I don't know, there may be more, where they showed footage of that vehicles, where they indeed had blue lights on them, and they were used to transport his wife and children onto an airport, onto a runway, next to a business jet. It could just as well be some other stuff that was transported there and fly out of the country or from here to Cape Town or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much for your time, Dr. de Kock. Really do appreciate it. Dr. Chris de Kock is a crime expert bringing us some of his analysis and views on testimony led before Parliament's Ad Hoc Committee this week. You're watching The Week in Review here on SABC News. Stay with us. We'll be back at the top of the hour.